Presidential greatness isn't about popularity, party loyalty, or slogans. It's about leadership, crisis management, moral clarity, and the long-term impact on the United States. These 10 presidents consistently rank at the top of historian surveys for their achievements and the enduring legacies they left behind. Here we present a fully expanded breakdown of why each president belongs in the top tier of American history. Hello, my name is Devin Hart. In for John Durset. When we come back, we'll dive into the top 10 presidents of the United States up until now. Ronald Reagan earned the nickname the Great Communicator because he had an unmatched ability to connect with the American people. His speeches brought clarity, confidence, and optimism during a time when the nation felt shaken by inflation, international challenges, and political cynicism. Reagan's talent wasn't just in speaking well, it was in speaking with purpose. He made complicated ideas accessible, restored trust in the presidency after years of turmoil, and helped Americans believe in themselves and in their country again. Helped bring the Cold War to an end. Reagan entered office determined to counter Soviet influence on the world stage. His strategy was twofold: apply pressure while leaving the door open for diplomacy. The military buildup of the 1980s put significant strain on the Soviet economy, but when Mikhail Gorbachev emerged as a reform-minded leader, Reagan shifted gears and pursued negotiation. The two leaders signed the INF Treaty, reducing nuclear weapon stockpiles and easing decades of global tension. This careful balance of strength and diplomacy helped set the conditions that ultimately led to the end of the Cold War. Restored confidence after a difficult era. The late 1970s were marked by deep pessimism, soaring inflation, stagnant growth, international embarrassment, and a collapse in national confidence. Reagan entered the presidency with a bold promise to revive what he called the American spirit. Through a mix of economic reforms, dramatic tax cuts, and a focus on deregulation, he presided over a period of strong growth and renewed optimism. Whether one fully agrees with his policies or not, Reagan's presidency undeniably shifted the national mood from uncertainty to confidence. Prevented another Great Depression. When Barack Obama took office in 2009, the U.S. economy was seconds away from collapse. Banks were failing, millions were losing homes, and entire industries were on the brink. Obama's emergency economic actions, including the stimulus package, bank stabilization measures, and auto industry rescue, helped halt the freefall. Economists widely agree that these policies prevented a second Great Depression and laid the foundation for a long period of sustained job growth. Passed the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act was the most significant healthcare reform in half a century. It expanded coverage to millions of Americans, protected individuals with pre-existing conditions, and restructured insurance markets. The ACA reshaped an entire sector of the economy, fundamentally changing how healthcare is accessed and delivered. Whether viewed as controversial or necessary, the law remains one of the most impactful pieces of social legislation since the Great Society. Ordered the mission that killed Osama bin Laden. After nearly a decade of searching, Obama authorized the high-risk mission that resulted in the death of Osama bin Laden, the mastermind of the 9/11 attacks. The operation required precise intelligence, careful planning, and courage at the highest level. Its success closed a long and painful chapter in the fight against terrorism and demonstrated America's resolve. Managed the Cuban Missile Crisis. Kennedy's leadership during the Cuban Missile Crisis remains one of the greatest demonstrations of presidential calm and judgment. For 13 tense days, the world stood on the brink of nuclear war. Through careful diplomacy and measured military response, Kennedy successfully compelled the Soviet Union to remove its missiles from Cuba. His restraint and strategic thinking prevented what could have been the most devastating conflict in human history. Launched the space race. Kennedy's bold vision, committing the nation to landing a man on the moon, ignited a technological and cultural revolution. His call to choose to go to the moon inspired generations of scientists, engineers, and dreamers. The Apollo program became one of America's proudest achievements, representing innovation, courage, and national ambition. Inspired a generation. Kennedy's speeches, leadership style, and charisma brought new energy to American politics. His famous line, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country," became a defining theme of civic responsibility. For many Americans, Kennedy symbolized progress, possibility, and the promise of what America could be. Author of the Declaration of Independence, Jefferson's words, "All men are created equal," became the moral foundation of American democracy. His writing captured the core principles of liberty, equality, and self-governance that would shape the nation for centuries. Though Jefferson himself was a man of contradictions, the ideas he articulated became the guiding star for every movement toward equality in American history. Oversaw the Louisiana Purchase. In one of the most significant land acquisitions in world history, Jefferson purchased the Louisiana Territory from France, doubling the size of the United States. This expansion opened the door for westward growth, agriculture, and settlement, and it solidified America's position as a rising continental power. Architect of American democracy, Jefferson championed individual rights, religious liberty, and limited government. His philosophy influenced the Bill of Rights, early American institutions, and the shaping of the Republic itself. Despite his flaws, Jefferson's intellectual legacy remains foundational. Ended World War II. Truman faced one of the most difficult decisions any president has ever confronted: whether to use atomic weapons to end World War II. He chose action, believing it would prevent a prolonged and devastating invasion of Japan. His decision brought the war to a close, though it shaped global politics for generations. Rebuilt Europe with the Marshall Plan. The Marshall Plan was a visionary economic rescue effort that helped rebuild Europe after the devastation of World War II. Truman's support for this plan not only stabilized the global economy, but also prevented the spread of communism and cemented America's role as a global leader. Created NATO and desegregated the military. Truman's leadership helped forge NATO, a cornerstone of Western security, for more than 70 years. Domestically, he took the courageous step of desegregating the U.S. military, an action that laid the groundwork for the civil rights movement. Do you really know Donald Trump? Most of what you've heard has been filtered through spin, soundbites, and headlines. My new book, Donald Trump, The Controversy, an Unauthorized Biography, pulls back the curtain and examines the truth behind the myth. Inside, you'll find the rise of a billionaire playboy-turned-politician and the forces that shaped him, the controversies, the conflicts of interest, the alliances that stunned America, new angles, fresh context, unchecked claims, all compiled in one fearless investigation. If you're tired of the talking heads and looking for something that doesn't play it safe, this book is for you. Get your copy now on Amazon, Kindle, or wherever books are sold. Unfiltered, unflinching, unafraid. Donald Trump, The Controversy, your next must-read political biography. Click the link at the top of the video description area to buy the book. A steady hand during the Cold War, Eisenhower provided calm, stable leadership during a time when nuclear fears loomed large. His level-headed approach kept tensions from spiraling out of control and offered Americans a sense of security in an uncertain era. Built the Interstate Highway System. The creation of the Interstate Highway System was one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in U.S. history. It transformed commerce, travel, national defense, and daily life. Eisenhower recognized that a modern America needed modern roads, and he delivered. Warned about the military-industrial complex. In his farewell address, Eisenhower cautioned the nation about the growing influence of the arms industry. His warning remains one of the most prescient messages ever delivered by a president. Trustbuster and reformer, Roosevelt took on powerful monopolies and corporate giants that had dominated the economy. His efforts helped create a fairer marketplace and restored public trust in government. Champion of conservation, Roosevelt protected millions of acres of forests, mountains, and wildlife. His passion for conservation laid the foundation for America's national parks and environmental stewardship. Built the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal revolutionized global trade and travel. Roosevelt's determination and leadership made the project possible, forever altering world commerce. Set the standard for all who followed. As the first U.S. president, Washington established precedents that defined the office. His leadership helped unify a fragile new nation and gave legitimacy to the young government. Refused to become a king, Washington could have become a monarch. Instead, he stepped down voluntarily after 2 terms, establishing the peaceful transition of power, one of America's defining features. Leader of unmatched integrity. Washington's character shaped the nation's expectations for presidential behavior. His humility and strength continue to serve as a benchmark for leadership. Led the nation through the Great Depression. FDR's New Deal programs provided relief, created jobs, and stabilized a collapsing economy. His leadership restored hope during one of the darkest moments in American history. Led the nation through World War II. FDR guided the U.S. through the largest global conflict in history. His strategic leadership helped secure Allied victory and reshape the world order. Transformed American government. Through programs like Social Security, FDR expanded the federal government's role in protecting economic security and promoting social welfare, changes that still shape American life today. Preserved the Union. Lincoln kept the United States intact during its most painful and dangerous crisis, refusing to let the nation fall apart. His resolve ensured that the American experiment continued. Abolished slavery. Through the Emancipation Proclamation and the push for the 13th Amendment, Lincoln ended the institution of slavery, one of the greatest moral achievements in U.S. history. Guided the nation through its darkest hour. Lincoln's leadership, compassion, and clarity of purpose made him the president most historians consider the greatest of all time. His words and vision still resonate today. These 10 presidents didn't just lead, they transformed. They shaped America's identity, strengthened our democracy, expanded our freedoms, and guided us through crisis. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to help us plan the content we share, and to help the channel to grow.